Alright, hello everyone, it's Teamrocketdraws here with another Pokemon drawing tutorial. And yeah, for this video we're gonna be drawing the new legendary from Pokemon Sun and Moon, Lunala. So yeah, as you guys can see on screen, this is how she ends up looking like. So if you guys want to learn how to draw her, then let's get started. I'm also gonna put up a reference right now on screen, that way it's easier for you guys to draw. And yeah, you guys will get all your details. I'm gonna make it a little bit bigger than normal just to help you out, since she's not easy, she's not hard, but at the same time she's not that easy, you know. But yes, like always guys, we're gonna start off by doing a sketch, and then from there on you guys are gonna do your final drawing. So remember not to press that hard on your pencil, that way you guys could erase the sketch afterwards, or basically erase anything that later on. But yeah, so first of all we're just gonna start by doing a circle, and try to make the shapes and the lines that I do here as close as you can to mine, just because it's gonna be way easier to follow the tutorial. Because if you guys don't do it close, then you guys might have a hard time doing it later on, you know. So yeah, so we're gonna start off by that circle, which is basically gonna be like the head, and then we're gonna do a little line, and it's not exactly in the middle, it's a little bit to the right, basically the neck, and then we're gonna do a line that basically is the length of the circle. So I do these two lines right there just to show you guys. You guys don't have to do those. It's just to show you guys how long to make that line, and that's basically gonna be like the torso area, the top of the torso. And I know right here I make mine straight, and on the reference it's more, it kind of like works itself into the neck, but you know. So yeah, so now we're just gonna extend the neck right there, that line, and then basically the length of the circle, maybe a little bit more. I think I make mine a little bit too short, so maybe you guys want to extend it a little bit lower down. We're gonna do this line right here. Like I said, you guys might want to do a little bit lower, not that much, just because when I did finish my drawing, I noticed that she wasn't that long, you know. It was pretty short, not that much, not something that you guys are gonna notice, but if you guys want to do it right now, then go ahead. Yeah, so then we're just gonna extend that line a little bit further, you know, basically the same length. And then right here at the top on these lines right here, we're gonna do these two lines, and the one on the right is a little bit shorter right there. I make it too long once I do the next line. So like I said, it all depends how you guys have it, you know. And just try to keep it as close as you can to this. Alright, so right there in the middle, we're just gonna extend, and look at the angle that I'm doing this line. Just do that line, is basically like a straight line. And this notice right there, I made it too far, you know. It's not always gonna work out, so you guys could just make any changes. So I erase it, and then it should be about this far away from the circle that we did. So you know, maybe that could help you guys knowing how far it is from the circle. We're just gonna curve this line, and then we're gonna do a line right here, and basically the length of the circle, the size of the circle going up. And right here I'm just doing that line just to show you guys, is basically the length of that. And this is where we're gonna do this line right here up to. That's what I call a reference line, guys. Let me just fix it. And if you guys do a straight line like I do it here, just see how far it is from the actual circle, you know. It might help you guys. Just place this line at the right, how should I say, at the right place, you know, because you guys could have done it a little bit further or anything, you know. Just doing those reference lines just really helps. Alright, so now we're gonna do this one, but this one's a little bit more at an angle going down. If you guys notice, it's not like the other one. And then it's just gonna stop right there. We're just gonna extend that line that we did at the bottom of the neck, and it should basically stop there. There we go. You guys could just see how far it is compared to the head. And then we're just gonna extend it and just curve it, you know. Curve this one, the one that we did before that at the bottom, is almost like a straight line, and this one is basically half the length from the head to the line that we did at the top. So I point out right there. So right there I just do a line just to give you guys like an idea, you know, to make it easier. You guys could do those reference lines. You guys don't have to, but you know, it just makes it a little bit easier to place these lines right here. So there we go. And maybe right now it might be a little bit confusing, but trust me, just try to do this as close as you can. It'll be a little bit easier once we do more stuff. So we're just gonna do this line right there going down, and it goes a little bit further than that middle line. And then we're gonna do another one the same length and just try to curve this one, and it gets pretty close to the other one that we did, the one on the right. And basically this is gonna be like the wing, guys. We're gonna do another one at this angle, so once again try to get the right angle of these lines. And that one's a little bit curved, and then this one is a straight line. And once again just try to like get as close as you can to this, you know. It's just gonna make it a lot easier. So around here we're gonna do this line, and basically that's gonna be the bottom. There we go. That's just a reference line that we can base the bottom off from. Alright, so now we're gonna do this line right here, this shape, and this is basically gonna be the actual head. Right through you guys could do this reference line right in the middle of the circle, and that's just gonna help us place the head right here. It's basically like a seed shape, and I do fix mine because I make mine too pointy. Right there, the left side should be a little bit more round. Mine almost looks like a triangle with the right side rounded off, but I do fix it later on. But this is basically the shape that the head is, you know. Like I said, it's still we're gonna start off by doing a sketch, and then from there on you guys are gonna do your final drawing. So even though it's not exactly like the reference, this is just to help us later on. Alright, so we could extend that line. I'm just showing you guys, you know, it's exactly right at the bottom of that line that we did. We're gonna start off by doing, and then right here I'm just cutting off a little bit of that. It all depends how long you guys did those lines that we did, and basically we're just gonna connect it and try to round it off. And this is basically the yellow outer wing. Just try to curve it, you know. And then we're just gonna do the other side right here. And if you guys notice, the bottom's pointy and it starts to get thicker and thicker as it goes up. There we go. There we go, guys. So yeah, there we go. That's the outer wing. And now on this side it's basically the same thing. And right here I don't get the right shape at the top of the wing right there on the reference. It goes up a little bit, then it goes down. Right here I just do it like the one on the left side. I do change that later on. So yeah, so this one's gonna start off right at the bottom of that line. You guys could do a reference line, and then you guys could just connect these two, you know, try to curve it. And that's gonna be the inside of the yellow part. So we're still gonna do the outside right now. So yeah, this is where I don't do it exactly like the reference, but I do fix that later on once I do my final drawing. So just try to make it the same thickness right there. I do a line just to help me, and maybe to make it easier, a little bit easier on you guys. And then we're gonna do the same thing right here, the bottom being like pointy and thinner, you know, and then getting wider and wider. And this one should be almost the same thickness as the one on the other side. And just try to make it parallel to the line, you know, that we did. There we go. So that's what I'm pointing out right here, that it should roughly be the same. So now the same thing right here, do like a little line, and you guys could do this line. I recommend doing it, just gonna help you guys. So just do that reference line going down, and we're basically gonna do the bottom moon shape that she has at her feet. So just curve this. Maybe I should have curved it a little bit more, but like I said, it's a sketch. You guys could always fix it later on, you know, and just do like this banana shape. There we go, and that's basically the bottom. I think I make mine a little bit too big, and it's not curved enough. I don't remember how it ends up looking like. It's the same thing. I know I fixed a little bit, you know, but I don't remember exactly if I leave it like that or I make it a little bit thinner and stuff like that. So right here I'm just erasing those reference lines that we have. That way it's not that confusing for you guys, because hopefully now you guys can see the overall shape of Lunala. Right here we could just do like another circle, and that's just gonna be like the hole that she has on the spikes that she has, in other words. And it doesn't, right here I connected to the head, but if you guys look at the reference, there's a small gap, so try to make that gap, you know. I do change that once I do my final drawing, but right here on the sketch I actually connect them, so I recommend that you guys don't connect them. There we go. So then right here I'm just doing like the yellow part of the head right there. It goes around the middle and it just connects to around there. I work this a little bit later on. Right here I'm just doing, like I said, a rough sketch, and then right here it gets pretty thin. You guys can look at the reference just to get a better idea, guys. Right there I wasn't too sure what I was doing on the head. But yeah, so now we're gonna start right here at the bottom. We're just gonna do these this line right there, and then the same thing on this side but upside down, doing them up. And then we're just gonna continue that to the middle. It gets close to that line going down, and then it just connects right there. The same thing on this side, gets really thin in the middle, and then it just connects at the bottom. If you guys look at the reference, then you guys will see what I'm actually doing. Although I think I make mine a little bit too big on my sketch and on my overall drawing. It's just I did Lunala really small, so it's hard for me to do small details. Alright guys, so now we're just gonna do basically the bottom part of Lunala right here. It extends like this, and then it connects to that line a little bit, and then it just curves right here, and it makes this kind of like a rounded off square shape almost. The same thing on this side. It gets pretty close to that middle part, and then it just touches this line right here, and then it just curves down. And on this side I don't have it, but basically it's the same thing as the other side. It almost has like the same shape. There we go. I do fix this later on. If you guys notice, the right one goes a little bit higher than the left one. Yeah, then right here just do this triangle shape right here. There we go. But yeah, and then on this side do the same thing. Just curve it up inward a little bit. And if it doesn't look the same as the reference, guys, it doesn't matter. I like, for example, mine, I don't follow mine 100%. For example, the head, I make mine way different than the one on the reference, but it still looks like Lunala, you know. So yeah, so now on this side, we're basically doing like the gaps in between the wings and the yellow part of the outside of the wing. And if you guys notice, it doesn't connect to that line that we did. It's actually a little bit, it goes a little bit further than that. And basically because the line is gonna be like the triangle shape on the yellow part on the outside of the wing. And there we go. So hopefully you guys now are able to see the overall, or like a better overall view of the drawing. And I had the hardest part for me was the chest area. For some reason I couldn't get it exactly. I kind of struggled trying to do it, but basically we're gonna do a line right there. It curves around here, and then we could just connect it to the head right there. Yeah, and right now on my screen, the video is lagging a little bit, so I'm sorry if I can't follow or say the right things when I'm looking at it. So right there, we're just gonna do this triangle shape, and right now it completely froze. All right, there we go. And this shape right here is just gonna help us do the inside, you know, basically like the torso area. You could do this shape right here, and I completely change it, just the angle of it, because when I was doing the final drawing, like the angle of the torso wasn't adding up, so I do change it a little bit later on, but it's not a big change, you know. Like I said, this is a sketch, you know, so you guys might have to change something later on, you know. But hopefully this is helpful enough that you guys can get a better idea of where everything goes and how to do it, and how to make it better later on once you guys do your final drawing. And then we're just gonna make this thin line right there. Just try to make both sides the same thickness, because if you guys look at the reference, there's the same thickness. I don't know why it's lagging so much, but hopefully it's not that noticeable, or like my voice is not that off from the video, you know, since on my screen right now it's lagging. Alright guys, so yeah, so now for the face area, we could just split this the shape of the head a little bit, like right in the middle, I mean. And it's just gonna help us. If you guys look at the reference, you guys will see that it basically splits in half. And then right here we could do an eye right there. And on mine, I make mine a little bit too big right here on the reference. And then it also has this like triangle shape behind the eye. I do fix mine later on. I don't know, like I said, if it shows. But right there, I made my eye too big, and I do change the shape of the head a little bit because on mine it's a little bit too triangle-y. If you guys know what I'm talking about. But right here, I'm just looking at the reference. It's a lot harder for me to see the reference because I have it on my tablet. You guys have it right there on screen, so it's a little bit easier for you guys to see. But on my when I'm looking at it, the tablet, it's a little bit like small, you know. So it's a little bit rough, and it's kind of far away. It's not that far away, but it's kind of far away to a point where I can't see small details, you know. So yeah, and right there, we're just gonna erase the middle. And it completely froze. Alright, so so yeah, we're just gonna make that the same thickness, and then it has the inside right here, the shapes. I do mine a little bit too big. I do make them a little bit better later on. And then on this side, you guys can barely see it. And I guess I also did the mouth, but like I said, right here for me it's lagging, so it's completely stopped, so I didn't even see that. And then it has this little spikes right there, which lines up with the rib cage. This should be basically like the same thickness as the rib cage. Right here, the right one's a little bit thinner than the rib cage. Like I said, I do change the angle of the rib cage. I make mine a little bit more curved. Right there is too straight, you know, going into those spikes on the shoulder. And then right here, just do this line. There we go. The same thing on the right side. We can erase this line. We don't need it no more. That was just to help us do that part of the wing. Same thing on this side. So it's not lagging no more, so hopefully it doesn't lag it. Alright, there we go. And just try to make it once again the same thickness as the other side. That way it doesn't look weird, you know. And then to around here, this is like where one of the fingers is. Basically starts off where the head starts, you know. If you guys look at it, compare it on the left side, and it's basically the size of the head, like the length of the head from the bottom to the top. And then right here, I started doing the little triangle shapes that it has right here. Something I didn't notice when I was doing this was that it basically lines up with on the other side. We did the lines right on the wing, and this side I didn't do them. So I'll show you guys a better way to do them in a little bit. Something I noticed in just a little bit when I was doing it. Right here, it has like a small gap right there that you guys could do. But hopefully now it's a lot easier for you guys to see Lunala, you know. The same now on this side. You do the fingers, and just try to do the fingers on either hand the same size, you know. Don't make a finger on one side bigger than the other, or like too big, you know. And they're really thin. They're thinner than the actual bones. Fixing it right here. And maybe you guys can notice now, like I said, the bottom half of Lunala, it's a little bit short. I made mine too short, like I mentioned in the beginning, but still it's not a big thing. See, like this, where I noticed right here that it basically lines up. It's basically the pointing to those lines, and then that's why and then we didn't do that on the right side. So I started to see right here, I do the lines, you know, going to it. So it's gonna be a little bit easier doing that part of the hand. And then this one's around here, and then the other one points to around over here. There we go. So now it's a lot easier to do the inside of the hopefully you guys know what I'm talking about, those spikes that are by the fingers, because they should basically line up right there. and then we could erase this line right there. We don't need it no more. That was just to help us place this part. And then also has these 2 points right there. So yeah, see, like the best thing right now that I'm looking at it is I think I do that, you know, but I make the rib cage a lot smaller because right here is really big compared to the rest of Lunala. Like I said before, I made the bottom part too short. So the best way to go about fixing that is making the rib cage a little bit smaller. That way it looks proportional to the rest of the drawing, like on the reference, you know. Alright, so now we're just gonna do those triangle shapes right there. That's just the ones that the outer wing has. Same thing for this side. Now right here we're gonna start doing the star shapes that she has. She has like 4 star shapes almost. The top part being like longer. There we go. You guys might have a hard time doing these. I know I did. It's just an awkward shape to do, you know. But just try to make the top longer. Now on this side. But yeah, guys, so as you guys can see, it's starting to look way better. And yeah, I did the bottom half of Lunala too short, but it's okay. Doesn't have to be like the reference 100%. Maybe I could have still fixed it by changing that, you know, just extending the bottom half and then extending the bottom of the wings, the outside of the wing, the yellow part a little bit further down, and it would have looked a little bit better or more like the reference. But I left it like that. Still not, like I said, it's not a big thing. And right here is like a part of the bone or the hand, the white part that is. On this side too, you guys can barely see it, and it's really hard when you're doing the drawing really small to do it, to do those small gaps, you know. But yeah, I guess, yeah, we're basically done, guys. The only thing we need left is just doing those little, like, really thin oval shapes that Lunala has between the hand and the basically in those lines. So just do these like really thin oval shapes, like right in the middle of that line, you know, between the outside of the wing and the inside of the wing where the hand is. Doesn't have to be like the reference 100%, but just having those lines really helps us, you know. So just try to make all of them in the middle, and all of them the same size. There we go. And yeah, we're basically done, guys. Right here I'm just doing like the little pointing things that it has there. Yeah, there we go. So yeah, guys, and also if you guys haven't seen my Sol Galileo tutorial, make sure to go check that one out. I'm really happy how that one came out. He was another hard one that I had no clue how I was gonna do the tutorial for, the same for Lunala, because I try to make them as easy as I can, guys. You know, it's hard making a tutorial easy, like a drawing easy, where I could get it proportional to the reference, you know. Like right here, and then I erased that line at the bottom right there, and I fixed the moon. Maybe something else that I could have changed was making the moon a lot thinner and smaller, you know. Maybe that would help. The same thing with changing the size of the torso, making it a little bit smaller, a little bit thinner, you know. I do work on it on my final drawing, but basically that's it, guys. And something that I end up doing is I erase my sketch. So right here is the same as you guys saw it before. I completely erase it just to make it a lot cleaner, you know. A lot of people, they just work on their sketch, but I like erasing it. And then this is where I'm working on it. I did the head first. I started with the eye, you know, the head shape, and I'm looking at the reference, you know. Even though I erased it, the sketch I mean, even though I erased it, I could still see it, you know. It's still there. If you guys pay close attention right here, you guys might still see some of the lines. In person they're a little bit more clear, you know. But and then I just go line by line, you know. Right there, work on the chest a little bit. Like I said, I changed the angle a little bit. It's not like the reference, but I just made it work with my drawing, you know. If it doesn't look right, on your drawing, just make it work on your drawing, even though it's not like the reference. Make any changes to your drawing. As long as your drawing looks good, it doesn't matter, if it's not like the reference. And then I ended up doing the outside of the wings. Like I said, I'm using the sketch, and just made the outside of the wings a lot better. But I'm basically following the sketch that we did exactly. The only thing that I did change was the head a little bit, and then I ended up doing the inside of the wing and the star shapes, and the bottom, you see, yeah, I did make it a little bit thinner. The bottom, like the moon shape, the banana shape at her feet, I made it a little bit thinner. I fixed the shape a little bit, also fixed the star shapes a little bit, the fingers, and yeah, and then like I said, just go line by line, guys. Look at the reference, or the sketch, I mean, and if you guys can make it better once you guys do your final drawing, then make it better, make the lines better, make any changes basically. And then here's the final. I just connected the bottom, and I try to make it at the right shape. I don't know if I'm making any sense. But basically this is the final outline. I actually did forget the small gap on the right side of the wing, like to the right of the hand, right there on the reference. There's like a small gap, and on my drawing, I don't have that. I do that once I start coloring it. I do notice that. But yeah, guys, so so hopefully you guys found this tutorial helpful. I do end up coloring it in just a little bit. But yeah, the only things that changed was the head, like I said before. Also notice there's like a small point right there on the head, like where the ear is, basically, almost like on the right side of the eye. I made the eye a little bit smaller. I just look at the reference, guys. It just makes it a lot easier. And just having that sketch, just like I said, it makes it a lot easier. And you guys can make all those changes. But yeah, I'm okay. I'm happy with it, guys. Like I said, the shape of the head, I didn't make it like the reference. Mine's a little bit more round, especially now having it next to the reference like that. Mine's more of it's more circular than the reference, but it's all right. If you guys don't compare it to the reference, then you guys really can't see that much of a difference. And I did end up coloring it, like I said, as you guys can see here. I used my personal Premier color markers, and I used the yellow for the outside of the wings. And I first went over the outside of the wings with a really light gray, and then I went over it with like the yellow, just to give it that darker yellow look to it, since I don't have that many yellows. And then on the right side, I just went over part of the yellow part with the light gray, and then the rest I just left the yellow, like the top. I didn't use that gray to color that, just so it could be the normal yellow that it is. And then for the bottom, where like the moon shape at the bottom, the banana shape, I went over that part first with the darker gray, then the one I used on the wings. And just so I think I used the same one, never mind. And then I just went over with the yellow, the same thing. And then I used the blue, like the darkest blue that I had, for the inside of Lunala. And then for like the middle where the torso is, yeah. See, mine's a lot simpler than the reference, but it's okay, guys. I made my Lunala too small, so it was really hard trying to do, make it like the reference, but it's alright. I'm happy with it. And then just looking at the shape of the head, it's not the same. I don't want to look at it no more, guys, having them next to side by side, but it's alright. You guys could make those changes. I made those changes when I was doing the final drawing, so hopefully you guys can make any changes to yours. That way it doesn't end up looking like mine too round. Because like I said, I was following the sketch a little bit, but I made mine a lot thinner, because like I said, I was working on the head. I don't know. And then for the eye, I used the pink, and then I used a white gel pen to do a little dot in the eye. And then the same thing for the top. Yeah, she has like little dots, basically like the universe, I guess, just like Sol Galileo. And then you could barely see the other eye on the reference, but like I said, I made mine too small, so it was really hard to do it on my drawing, so I didn't do that. And then for the bone area, basically like the white, I don't know, to me it looks like a bone, she looks like like a skeleton almost. I just left it in white and just used like a really light gray to go over the shadows, you know, the darker areas. I went over that the same thing on top of the head on the moon shape, you know. Half of it is like light gray and the other side is like white. You guys can barely see it, like right now, looking at it I could barely see it, but yeah, I just looked at the reference, you know. And the torso right there, like the lighter blue, I just used the light blue and then I just try to blend it into the rest, to the darker blue, but it was really hard. I tried my best with the colors, guys. Like I said, it's really small. You guys could probably tell when I erase it, or how big it is compared to the pencil. But overall, guys, I think it came out okay. And then I did end up outlining it in pen, ballpoint pen, just because I had a Sharpie. I bought new Sharpies, like the fine tips. But since the drawing was too small, you know, they were still too thick. You know, the pen just made it a little bit thinner. If I would have used the Sharpie, the lines would have been too thick, you know. So I used the pen, and I think it came out okay overall. Like I said, it's probably the drawing that least looks like the reference out of most of my tutorials. Maybe there's some more that don't look like the reference, but I don't know, guys. Still looks alright, you know. If you guys don't compare it to the reference, don't even just put your hand over the reference, or you know what, let me take it off right now and just put my drawing. And just look at it, guys. You know, it's not that different. You know, it still looks like Lunala. Obviously, if you have the reference right next to it, it's gonna look a little, you guys are gonna obviously like, you know, see the differences. You know, see the differences that mine is a little bit different, but just looking at my drawing, still looks like Lunala, you know. So it's alright, guys. So hopefully my tutorial was helpful. I recommend that you guys base your final outline on the reference, and then on mine, just like I said, I wasn't too happy with the head and the torso. But hopefully overall I was able to help you. Let me know if you guys got this far. Let me know in the comment section. Let me know if you guys drew Lunala. Tell me if it was easy, if it was hard, what changes that you made, you know, something, you know, that probably I could have changed or done better. Obviously there's a lot of things I could have changed now looking at it that I'm finished, but I don't know, I'm still happy, like happy with it. Like I said, the only reason that I'm not happy with it is just because it's really different compared to the reference, having them side by side. But there's always gonna be a difference, you know. It's never gonna end up looking like the reference 100%. So yeah, so hopefully I was able to help you guys. Let me know in the comment section. Like I said, please leave a like if you did end up drawing Lunala. Let me know also in the comment section how yours turned out. And remember that you guys could always send in your drawings. The links will be in the description, like the ones you saw at the beginning of this video. I'll be happy to post them at the beginning of my next video, you know. And yeah, like I said, the links will be in the description. I recommend you guys sending them to me on Twitter or my email, just because I never use my Facebook. I can't remember the last time I went on that Facebook. But yeah, so send them in. I'll be happy to look at them, you know, see them for myself, you know. And any feedback is much appreciated. And yeah, we'll be doing more Sun and Moon Pokemon. Lunala and Solgaleo were just the hardest ones, the ones I just wanted to get out of the way. I also drew Mimikyu, so if you guys haven't seen that one, make sure to go check it out. If this is the first video that you've seen by me, make sure to check out my channel. I have over 100 tutorials, all Pokemon, you know. My goal is to draw every single Pokemon, so yeah, so if there's a Pokemon you guys want me to draw, like I said, look at my channel, probably already did it. And yeah, so I just want to thank you guys for watching, and I guess I'll just catch you guys on the next video. Team Rocket Draws out.